Good evening and welcome to Intellectual Property for Bakers and Pastry Shops. This is Chef Jeff Blunt from Western Carolina University's Entrepreneurship Program, Fall of 2016. Now, bakers, as you move forward in your baking venture, it is important to understand your options as they pertain to the scope of intellectual property. It's a big question for a lot of small mom and pop operations out there. How do I protect myself, my bakery, my cupcake shop, my chocolate shop? So we're going to talk about these things today and how to actually prepare and do a little bit of your own research to set yourself up for success and sustain your business for the long haul. There are four main types of intellectual property, and they consist of copyrights, patents, trademarks, and trade secrets. So we're going to quickly go over each one and what those mean, because I think a lot of folks, as they go into their new bakery ventures, they don't quite understand what the meaning of these four words are and how they actually come into play with the things that you're going to be doing within your facilities. So first off, copyrights. These are protected original works of authorship. These are things such as literature, music, all those kinds of things that have absolutely nothing to do with a cupcake. And that's one of the things I think a lot of folks need to realize. Now, if you're writing a recipe book and you publish that, by all means, you can go ahead and get that copyrighted. But really, as it comes to your normal baking every day, you're not going to be able to copyright your muffin or your cupcake. Next will be our patents. And these things grant property rights on inventions, allowing the patent holder to exclude others from making it. Now, obviously, you're not the inventor of the cupcake. And the person that invented the cupcake, obviously, that went on years and years and years ago. And those things are just made by everybody, so you really can't protect it. There are three types of patents. You've got utility, design, and plant. So the most common one would be like a machine. As you can see here in the illustration, a picture of the tricycle lawnmower. I don't think I've ever seen a tricycle lawnmower out there, but there is a patent and it does exist, and someone came up with it. But when you're thinking about the process, maybe you are actually producing a product using a specific process. At Sugar Buzz, we produced a product that had 3 different bake processes, and the packaging that we used to bake it was actually patented. However, the oatmeal fudge brownie, the name and the product itself, was not copyrighted or patented. We'll get on to a little bit further about what we actually did. But to qualify for a utility patent, the invention must be novel, non-obvious, and have some usefulness. So you have to actually think outside of the box and what your normal cupcake is, and maybe it's the process in which it gets baked, or maybe it's the process in how it gets served. And that's where you might be able to patent it. So let's move forward. Trademarks. And you'll see here on the right-hand side of the screen, all these names come with a word, a phrase, a symbol. Cargill, Hershey's, Frito-Lay, Jolly Green Giant, all of those things. Think of it as the Nike swoosh. That swoosh designs and identifies shoes that are made by Nike. Now, although rights and trademarks are acquired by use, registration with the USPTO makes it easier to enforce those rights. Now, you have to register. So, for instance, I can trademark Sugar Buzz Bakery, at least the name, using the image. That's the important part. There's an image. There were numerous Sugar Buzz bakeries and pastry shops that were open while mine was. However, they did not have Buzzy, and Buzzy was actually the part of the logo that we trademarked. So, because you can't exactly say Sugar Buzz. Well, we all get it when we eat sweets and things. So you have to think through what it is that you're actually trademarking. A lot of people don't realize that there are 264 trademarks using the word kiss that is actually held by Hershey. Hershey Kiss and all of its little extra words that you could possibly add on to it. Hershey has already trademarked 264 of those names. So those names, and they have images that go with them. So you have to think about what it is that you're trademarking, and it's probably going to be an image and a name to make sure of that. So now this next part, the trade secret, this is where you're probably going to find yourself really utilizing your resources. If you are a small mom and pop bake shop and you are planning on going to the next level and possibly even going public with your company, you're going to be looking at trademark secreting. So the actual trade secret, this intellectual property, it's a formula, a process, a device, or other business information that companies keep secret. Now that's the key phrase there. Companies keep secret to give them an advantage over their competitors. Now I can tell you that as an owner of Sugar Buzz, we had numerous people that wanted the recipe for our original oatmeal fudge bars for years, and there was even a price attached to it. And I offered it numerous times to other facilities to actually sell off the recipe itself. And at that point, I understood that if I sold the recipe, the business would basically end. So that's the kind of thing that you have now. But you'll notice it's excuse me, soda formulas, customer lists. This should be obvious. Okay, survey results, computer algorithms. Unlike other types of intellectual property, you can't obtain protection by registering your trade secret. Instead, protection lasts only as long as you take the necessary steps to control disclosure and the use of the information. So you start thinking about the things that go on in your shop if you're a mom and pop facility and how you're going to handle a trade secret. And one of the best stories that I've heard is Krispy Kreme Donuts. It's out of Winston-Salem. Has 3 parts to their recipe. They have a Murphy spice, they have an oil, and then they have an actual dry ingredient. And those 3 packages come to the stores in separate bags from separate manufacturers. And those manufacturers have no clue what's going on with the other manufacturer. So, and then the store level is then told to mix these 3 bags of ingredients with a certain amount of water. And that then gives them their dough. So they've protected themselves on 3 or 4 different levels. And it's definitely something that you want to keep in mind as you move forward from, like I said, a mom and pop operation all the way to the next one. Now, when you look at a mom and pop operation, how do you protect yourself from, say, for instance, Sally coming out of culinary school and wanting to own a cake shop just like yours? Well, that's what we're going to discuss next. So where does this leave you? And you'll notice the KFC's secret herbs and spices. Ooh, look, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows the spice mix. And there's numerous versions of this listed on the internet. But the question you have to ask yourself, is your brownie recipe really protected? Are you unique? And is your product really different? Or is it just you and your process? Like with Sugar Buzz, it was our process. It was how we took care of our customers. It was our customer list. And it was how we baked the product. It was still a brownie. So to be unique, it was how we marketed it and how we did it and how we packaged it and sold it. But the biggest thing we had to do to protect ourselves, and you as a small mom and pop bakery need to do the same, is your business needs to use non-disclosure agreements. Restricted access to confidential information, i.e., KFC has their spices mixed by 2 or 3 different companies. Same thing as Krispy Kreme. So they restrict the access to that confidential information. Post-employment restrictive covenants. Folks, we've all heard of these. You can't open up a bakery within 50 miles radius. You can't sell this product within 50-mile radius. Those kind of things are set up. The non-disclosure agreements, attaching millions of dollars in some cases to whether or not an employee spills the beans is important. And then, of course, other security practices to maintain trade secrets. You can also insure your product and your facility in case this happens. I will tell you, depending on how big you want the payout to be, is how big your insurance premium is going to cost. You can check with your local insurance agency for information and ideas on that. So hopefully this helps you and gives you a little idea into and some insight into what it means to protect your business and your bakery as you move forward. Be unique, and most importantly, protect your intellectual baking property And I want to thank you for watching. Check us out on the Fully Baked Idea WordPress.com for blogs on how to fully bake your ideas for your new baking venture. Thank you so much. Have a great night.